Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for the live-action Lilo and Stitch movie. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way, shall we? I'm just leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Lilo and Stitch, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into the review, shall we? So, I am really glad that my dog decided to stick around next to me until, I started recording. Because Stitch was his almost name. It was between really three names, but the top two were Stitch and, of course, the name that I went with, which is Crash, named after the PlayStation character. So to say that game has such a special place in my heart, and so does the movie Lilo and Stitch. So, long story short, I was really excited for this movie, and I think the trailers have been great. I think this had the opportunity to be one of the better live-action Disney remakes. And when the reviews coming out, a lot of people saying this is the best live-action Disney remake. And, that's a little redundant to me when people say that, because it feels like it's the only way to sell that the movie is good. It's like watching a Marvel movie now when you go, it's the best one since Endgame. It's just like, well, how many times can you say that until, you truly have felt that? And it just really seems like it's the only selling point to say, hey, this movie is good, when you could just say the movie is good. Going into it, and I was watching it, and especially at the beginning, I was a little worried, to be completely honest with you, because this is going at such a frantic pace, and I'm not sure how intentional that is, because sitting with it a lot longer, it does feel very intentional, because the pace really only picks up when Stitch is alone, because that is his personality, right? He wants to cause mayhem, he wants to be frantic. Because that whole beginning, I was just like, whoa, movie, slow down, breathe, man. It in a lot of ways, it felt like that person who's really excited to tell you something, and they're going at 100 miles an hour, and you're just like trying to keep up with it. I honestly thought for a split second, I was watching the movie at 2x speed. I thought somehow we were on YouTube and we went to settings and we put 2x speed, and that's where the movie was heading in, because man, it just did not let a lot of moments breathe. It was just going. And in a lot of ways, it was the scenes that we already come to know and love. Like, okay, yeah, they've already seen this, so let's just get through this as quickly as possible. But once they do get to Hawaii, and we do meet Lilo and we do meet Nani, the movie does start to slow down quite a bit. And I do think it finds its rhythm at that pace, but it's such a clash with how it starts that it does sometimes feel like it's slowing down way too much. And then, you get adjusted to that tempo, and then you're like, okay, yeah, no, this movie has really found its stride. Because I wouldn't say this is a movie where, you're thinking of your grocery list. You aren't thinking about the time as you are watching it, but it is such a whiplash, because it does speed up and then it slows down, then it speeds up a lot and then it slows down quite a bit. But then once it stays consistent with its tempo, the movie really finds its stride, and you're just really within the groove of it. Now, do I think this is the best Disney live action remake? I don't know if I'm necessarily the right person to ask, because I am someone who has generally liked most of, if not all, of the live-action Disney remakes. Sure, Snow White was pretty close to a bad review. I won't lie to you on that. I do defend that movie, but if you were to come to me and say that was a bad movie, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. And I'm having a hard time thinking of the other ones that would also go, yeah, no, that's a pretty bad movie. Because when I go into these, I don't really expect a lot. We do hold these animated movies to a high regard, and sometimes rightfully so. Some of these are some of the greatest movies ever made, such as The Lion King. But for the most part, they are family-friendly kid movies for the most part, with some of them having a diamond in the rough, and nostalgia is just really, really strong. And when I go into these movies, I just want to see my childhood come to life. As long as I see, hey, does Stitch look good in this movie? Absolutely. Did Jumba and Peakley have a good dynamic? Yes, they did. Did I buy the sisterly bond between Lilo and Nani? Absolutely. And within that, I do think this is one of the better ones. I do think this is within tier 1. Now, my tier 1 of Disney live action remakes is going to be different from yours, But you know, if I had to guess my top three right now, I really did like that Aladdin one quite a bit. I actually do put it on from time to time because I did have a good time with it. I liked Will Smith as the genie. I liked everything that we did within that movie. And then there's this one as well, and I'm really trying to think of another one that I would put in third. But those are the top two that come to my mind when it comes to tier one of these Disney live action remakes. Now, for the things I don't like, we already talked about a little bit, was the frantic pacing. Again, by design or not, I just don't think overall it was for me. I would have liked it if they would just stuck to the pacing all the way through. We do add some characters within this, like there is a neighbor who is, I believe, is David's mom, if I recall the movie correctly. Is that we add this character within it, and she does have a purpose within this film, absolutely. But sometimes I'm just like, why are you here? And then, of course, what we already knew is that Clover Bubbles is not the social worker. We have another social worker in this role, and she does a really good job. We do something a little different when it comes to the social working point storyline of this film. And Cobra is in the movie, but at the same time, I just felt like she was just added. And I just don't know how much of an impact she made as opposed to if you would have just made it Cobra Bubbles. So we also did not have some characters. Captain Gantu was not in this movie. That one I didn't feel the missing point quite a bit. It is a little bit jarring at first because, you know, he is within the beginning of the film. And then when you realize, oh, he's not in this movie, I wonder what they're going to do. And then as the movie's progressing, I do kind of forget about him. So I don't think his presence was necessarily missed. But what the route that we do go on when we do get towards the ending of this movie, one, it is just rushed, like I said, with the frantic pacing. A lot of the emotional beats do just get glossed over. I would have liked to see a little bit more of the progression of Stitch. I don't know if we had to be at a time. I don't recall what the runtime of this movie was. I do know it's under 2 hours. But, you know, in that original, you do see the progression of Stitch going from, you know, the drawing where the badness is so high, and you do see that go down a little bit. Within this, there is an attempt. We do have a little bit of a, not a monologue, what's it called? A montage. It starts with an M. We do have a montage of seeing him trying to work on himself, but overall, did it necessarily get me to buy in completely like, oh, Stitch knows the right from wrong now? No, especially when we do get into those emotional beats of the film where, yes, I feel it for Nani and Lilo, but Stitch is feeling sad too, and I'm just like, I don't think you earned feeling sad at this point as the sun is starting to get into my eyes through the blinds here. And also, you know, look, they did a great job with Lilo and Nani in that dynamic. In a lot of ways, this is Lilo and Nani as opposed to Lilo and Stitch. That is truly what they're trying to make the heartbeat of this film. It's just, again, once we do get to the ending and we do get to the final beat, where at first I wasn't a huge fan of it because they do change the ending of the movie from the animated feature. One is, I'm not really complaining about this because, again, you know, this is a movie about a blue alien who passes as a dog and two aliens, you know, hunting for him. You know, it's very fantastical. So realism is not necessarily something I am looking for when I am watching this movie. But we explain something that Nani can do early on within the film, and it comes back that, you know, this is how, you know, she helps save the day, if you will. And I'm just like, this is a superpower that she is able to do this for this long. It's something any normal person can do. But the length and how long Nani has to do this, I'm like, she needs to be in Doomsday with how she is able to do all of this. It's really, really impressive. Now, when we get to the actual final beat, when everything's starting to come full circle with, you know, with all the story elements that you know from the animated feature that they are transitioning over to live action, it is different. And that part of the story is very real. And again, that element, I still go back and forth on it. A big part of me, I cannot talk right now. A big part of me does appreciate it because it is very bold. Again, it's very mature and it is very honest. And it's very likely how these types of situations go. Right? And within that, I do think there is an important lesson to learn within that I do think a lot of people do need to learn. But at the same time, like I said, this is a movie about a blue alien that passes off as a dog. Sometimes I just want fantasy and I just want, the ending that I come to know and love because it tied the movie up so well. So again, it really depends on the mood that I am in. But overall, I guess, like when I came out of the theater, I didn't like it. Now, sitting on it for a little bit, I've come to respect it a lot more, and maybe I do prefer it. But again, tomorrow I could be feeling a completely different way. But yeah, so those are the main problems I have with it. The ending to me, again, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. So maybe that's a good thing. The frantic pacing, and again, the emotional moments just weren't necessarily there for me. Now, when Stitch is acting sad, I am sad because, then I am reminded of my dog, and I'm like, oh, I want to go hug my dog. And of course, Stitch is so freaking cute. So yeah, I do feel something for him. But, if he's not there, then maybe these moments don't really have the impact on me that, the movie necessarily wants me to have. Now, with that being said, within the theater that I was in, even though I wasn't feeling it, my theater, which was super packed, which leads me to believe this movie's going to make a ton of fucking money. There was hardly any dry eyes in the house once we got to the end of this movie. And when the credits started to roll, for the first time in 2025, which is crazy that it had to take it till late May to get it, got claps when the credits started. And, I know a lot of people think that's corny. I kind of like it, when you like a movie so much that you do feel like, oh, yeah, man, that was good. That was a good time. I always respect it. And again, even though I didn't feel the need to clap, the fact that a full theater of people, again, it was pretty packed, a full theater of people felt the need to do that is saying something. So yeah, overall, again, can I fully recommend you to go to the theater to go see this? Again, that's a really tough thing for me to answer because me as a guy who would just, who goes to the movies regardless, sure, if you want to go see Lilo and Stitch, I think you're going to have a good time going to see Lilo and Stitch. If this is to be a date movie, yeah, I think this is worth spending the $20 on. Maybe get a popcorn, or maybe you have the dinner before where you don't need to get the popcorn and the drink. Yeah, you're going to have a good time. But then once you go, I'm a family of 3, okay, then that's $30. Well, your kid's definitely going to want popcorn and a drink, so now you're looking at $50. Okay, now we're a family of 4. Okay, now you're looking at $40 just to get into the door. Now you're definitely going to need to get popcorn and candy so that the kids can stay quiet. Now you're looking at roughly $80. Oh, we're a family of 5. Oh, man. Now, once we get into that element of it, you're spending a big, hefty amount. And, me just to say, your child's smile will be worth the money. The child's smile is also worth it on Disney+. So, again, once you get into these higher amounts, I do get more hesitant to say, yes, it is worth going to the theater for, and then maybe I will go, hey, wait for Disney+. But overall, again, I think this is a case of if you were wanting to go to the theater to go see Lilo and Stitch, I don't think you're going to regret dropping the money, regardless of how many children you have and how many tickets you are buying and how much snacks you are buying for it, because again, they do capture that original in some aspects of it. Is the original still the superior version of it? Of course it is. I don't think there's been any Disney live action that is better than the original source material. Maybe The Jungle Book. That was it. That was the third one. The first Disney live action where we go, hey, these movies are actually pretty good, was The Jungle Book. They did really good with that one. But besides that one, none of the other ones even come remotely close to it, right? So don't go in with those expectations, but yeah, go for Lilo and Nani's sister dynamic. It's very, very good. Go for the cuteness and the chaoticness of Stitch. Jumba and Peakley, they're fun in the movie. They have a good dynamic, but very much prefer the animated versions than the ones that we got in this one. So yeah, if I had to rank this on a lemon scale where it goes sour lemon, expired store-bought lemonade, hey, there's a lot of bad, but there's good to it. Store-bought lemonade, very good, but hey, there's problems in it. Lemonade, hey, it's a movie. Freshly squeezed lemonade with minor problems, and then strawberry lemonade at the very top of the scale because that is the best kind of lemonade. Lilo and Stitch to me is teetering between store-bought lemonade and lemonade. It really just depends on how I'm feeling about the ending at the time. Like I said, I go back and forth with it. If I don't like it, it's store-bought lemonade. If I do like it, like I am right now, then we are feeling at a lemonade. But enough what I think about it, guys. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section. Leave a like on this video if you made it this far within a review. I do greatly appreciate it. Talk longer than I thought I would. And of course, hit that subscribe button as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.